So in today's video, I'm talking about how to say no nicely and still be helpful, because saying no doesn't have to be uncomfortable. But if you're new, my name's Michelle Farris. I'm a psychotherapist and I love helping people create relationships that work. So why do we say yes when we really mean no? It's most likely because we're afraid of disappointing somebody or upsetting them, or maybe they'll think we're being selfish or not very helpful or not a good friend. So what we do is we say yes even when we mean no. And that causes a lot of problems, not just for you, but for the relationship. Because initially we say yes when we really mean no to avoid a confrontation. We don't want to deal with the potential of something going wrong or somebody being upset at us. So we suck it up and say yes even when we don't want to. So the problem is when we say yes and we mean no, we're really giving the false impression that everything's okay when it's not. We're pretending that we're willing to do something that we really don't want to be doing. It gets harder and harder to keep saying yes, and I don't want that for you. That still small voice within starts saying, I gotta stop doing this. I gotta put my needs first. I don't have the time to be helping this person anymore. And that doesn't mean anything negative about you. You're not mean, you're not selfish. It's not that you're not a good friend. It just means that you've hit your limit. Because saying no is a boundary that controls our time and our energy. And that's why it becomes precious, especially if you're a busy person and you have work and family and you're juggling lots of things. Or maybe you just don't have the energy to be doing what you're doing and you really want to do less in your life, and that's okay too. So let's talk about how to recognize your no. So everyone has a gut check or an inner voice that tells them where their boundaries are. It's the same with your no. For instance, somebody asks you for a favor, and most likely you're going to have an immediate response to that in your body. A yes feels easy. There's no hesitation. There's no ill will. There's no bad feeling. You're just, yes, I'm happy to help you. And it almost feels like your heart expands because you want to give. You want to say yes. But on the other hand, when it's a no, you might feel a hesitation or a sense of dread or negative self-talk, telling yourself things like, well, I should say yes, they're my friend. But it feels like you don't have a choice. And the more we say yes and we mean no, the more likely that relationship is going to become unhealthy. Because in a healthy relationship, both people are okay with hearing the answer no. They're not manipulated, they're not made to feel guilty. It's just part of the human experience. Because let's face it, there are going to be times when you're willing to help, and there are going to be times when it's not a good idea for you to help. And that's okay. That's part of setting boundaries. And that's why saying no is such a powerful boundary. If you've ever struggled with saying no, say me too in the comments. I'm right there with you, but this is going to help. So let's talk about the fear you might have of saying no. What I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen if you say no? Because usually this is where you're going to hit that false evidence appearing real. That's an acronym for fear, and it comes from 12-step programs, and I use it a lot because it's a great barometer to give you a reality check. Because if you ask yourself, well, what's the worst that could happen? And you realize, well, really nothing. Maybe the person would get mad at me, but there's no evidence that they've ever done that. They've always been super kind and respectful. Then you know that it's just false evidence appearing real. If, on the other hand, you ask yourself that and you get a gut feeling like, oh my gosh, they're going to be super mad at me and they're going to blame and gaslight me, that might be your intuition saying, you know what, this person isn't necessarily safe for you, and that means you may need to reassess the relationship. Because saying no shouldn't come back to bite you. Most people who love you want you to take care of yourself, and saying no is a huge way we do that. The other thing we need to do is confront old negative beliefs. Like saying no means that I'm being selfish, or that I'm not a good friend, or that people are going to be mad at me. Because a lot of times those fears go back to childhood and they're just not true in the present moment. And the more you can confront those negative beliefs and work through them, the easier it's going to be for you to say no. Because when we ignore our desire to say no, we actually are stuffing our feelings and they come out in the body as stress. We might have stomach aches, headaches, anxiety, because when we don't honor our truth, we pay the price. Because let's face it, it's normal for you to have needs, and it's normal for you to want to say no on occasion. You should be able to be in control of your own time and your own energy and how you spend it. So when you start feeling anxious or you get a stomach ache because somebody's asking you for a favor and you really don't want to give it, that's your body telling you that you want to say no, and that's okay. A really common belief when saying no is other people are going to be mad at me. And let's face it, when you start a new behavior, people are going to possibly have a reaction. If you always say yes and now suddenly you're starting to say no, other people might say something or they might get a little uncomfortable. That's okay. But here's the thing, people who love and support you and want you to take care of yourself are going to adjust, and they're going to understand because maybe they say no in their life too, and now they're realizing that, wow, you're going to start setting better boundaries and taking better care of yourself. On the other hand, if you have toxic or narcissistic people in your life, they're not going to want you to say no because they want to control your time and your energy. So that's going to be something you're going to need to pay attention to because you have every right to say no and set healthy boundaries for yourself. So one thing that's going to make it easier for you to say no is to practice with safe people first, because then you're going to gain confidence the more you have those little wins of saying no. And what I would do is I would start with something super small, just those little tiny easy no's that aren't about the big things, but are going to help you gain confidence in your relationships. Because when you can say no effectively and nicely, you're going to feel a lot more confident to take care of yourself. And that's what I really want for you. The other thing that saying no does for you in your relationships is it weeds out toxic people. Because if you say no and they can't tolerate it, or they make you feel guilty or gaslight you or make you question why you're doing it, that's a major red flag in relationships. So for instance, when you start a new relationship, saying no to something is going to be a really good indicator of if your needs and your boundaries are going to be respected. So now let's get to how do you say no nicely and still be helpful. The first way to say no that I love is to just say, let me get back to you tomorrow. And while you're not saying no, what you're doing is you're creating a pause. You're creating some separation so you don't have to answer in the heat of the moment. Because I don't know, if you're like me, I'll say yes in the moment simply to please the other person. But if my stomach's in knots when somebody asks me for something, that's when I know I can say, I'll get back to you tomorrow with an answer. And then by taking that time for yourself, you're gonna know whether or not you really wanna do that favor or not. The next way you can say no nicely is, I'm sorry, that's not gonna work for me. Another way you can say no nicely is to say, oh, I wish I could, but I can't. You don't have to say won't. Can't, I think, is a little bit softer. And use an empathetic tone of voice because that can go over really well too. Another way to say no nicely is to say, that's not going to work for me. Now, the other thing I notice people wanting to do is to add I'm sorry. You don't have to add I'm sorry. If it makes you feel better, that's okay, you can add it. But you have nothing to apologize for. It's totally okay for you to say no. Another way to say no nicely is, no, I'm not able to do that for you. That's okay. You can actually say no. Most of us, especially in the beginning, don't want to say no right away. And that's why these statements don't start off with the word no, because I know for me, I could never have started with no in the beginning. Now I can, but back then I really needed a soft, light approach because I was so scared to do it. If saying no has been a challenge for you, say me too in the comments. I'm right there with you. Another way to say no nicely is to say, here's what I can do. So what you're doing is you're offering what you can do, but you're not committing to what they're asking. So for example, they ask you to help them all day on a Saturday with a project, and you really don't have that kind of time. You might come back with, here, you know what? I can help you in the morning. Instead of saying, no, I can't help you, you're offering what's going to work for you. And that's a very empowering boundary to set. So how can you still be helpful when you're saying no? Here's my suggestion. What I want you to do is I want you to help them brainstorm another solution. This can be seen as very helpful, very considerate, because often when somebody's asking us for a favor, they may not have thought of other options yet. They may just assume that we're going to say yes. But if we don't, that's when we can say, you know, even though I can't do it, let's figure out this together so that we can help you get what you need. That's a great way to show support. Another way to still be helpful is to empathize. Gosh, I really can't do that for you, but I'm here, and offer other ways of support. You can listen, you can talk things out with them. There are other ways to be helpful other than saying yes, especially the first option of brainstorming other solutions. People really like that because it helps them get their need met, and it helps you stick to your original boundary of saying no nicely. Now, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to go watch my video on setting boundaries, because that's a part of saying no. Thanks so much.